Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 14 based on novel. So let's start. Ji Shou's eyes shone brilliantly as he stared at Lin Dong, who had nonchalantly taken the golden command token from his hand. His old face mostly remained unchanged, but he had secretly been rather shocked. He was a perfect profound life stage expert, and the disparity in strength between him and Lin Dong was humongous. If it were any other normal person, or even Ji Mengqi and the rest, it would definitely be very unbearable. However, the man standing before him treated his yuan power pressure as if it was nothing. This was not something that just anyone was capable of. This fellow, Ji Shou's eyes sparkled brightly before dimming. He shot a deep gaze at Lin Dong. No wonder Lin Dong dared to claim he had a 50% chance of defeating Shintu Ju. It seemed that his abilities were indeed undeniable. Ji Yunqian, who was standing to one side, stared at this spectacle with some astonishment. He clearly understood how strong Ji Shou's yuan power pressure was. Even when he was at his peak, he would definitely be unable to resist the pressure as easily as Lin Dong had. Little Yang, looks like you've indeed found a good helper this time. Ji Shou tilted his head towards Ji Yang and Ji Mengqi beside him, and said in a soft voice, "He is indeed very powerful." Ji Mengqi said while nodding her head. Her peach blossom-like pupils were filled with curiosity as she glanced at the figure of the youth in front of her. Who knew how much high his battle power would be when he truly went all out? Ji Yang's cold and elegant face similarly revealed a smile, as she gazed at Lin Dong with a somewhat complicated expression. No one could have expected that the person she had viewed as a cripple with no hope of recovering from his wounds would become the savior of their Ji clan. Ha ha, little friend Lin Dong, the Ji clan might have to rely heavily on you for this martial gathering. The shock within Ji Shou's heart gradually subsided, before he chuckled in a kind voice. My conditions, Lin Dong asked with a smile. If our clan is truly able to become the champion, one of the 3 quotas for the Chaotic Tower will be yours. Many thanks, Lin Dong said, while he inwardly breathed a sigh of relief. Such an outcome was naturally the best. The martial gathering will begin tomorrow. Please allow me to invite little friend Lin Dong to rest today. Ji Shou smiled and said. Lin Dong faintly nodded his head and cupped his hands towards everyone. Without saying another word, he turned around and left. While turning around, no one noticed tiny black lines quietly dissipating under his skin. With his perfect profound life stage strength, Ji Shou was indeed considerably powerful. The extent of his strength had even exceeded that of the 4 Hall Masters of the Dao sect. Even some advanced profound life stage experts would face some difficulty resisting the yuan power pressure generated due to his strength. However, it was a pity that this kind of pressure did not have much of a suppressing effect on Lin Dong, who possessed the devouring ancestral symbol. In the Great Hall, the crowd of Ji clan members watched as Lin Dong departed, before breaking out into whispers. The ease with which Lin Dong had taken the command token away under Ji Shou's yuan power pressure caused them to feel considerably shocked and astonished. This Lin Dong is definitely not simple. Where exactly did he sprout from? I've never heard of such a person amongst the younger generation of the Heaven Wind Sea region, Ji Shou said with a faint smile. Elder Ji Shou, do you believe that he can truly contend against Shintu Ju? Ji Yunqian asked in a soft voice. I do not dare to say that. That brat Shintu Ju is definitely not easily to deal with. But, at the very least, Lin Dong will be a pretty good external helper, much more suitable than Mo Dao. Ji Shou replied while shaking his head. His eyes narrowed slightly as he muttered, as for whether he can match up to Shintu Ju as he has said, we'll know after they cross hands. I hope that his words are genuine. If he is truly able to help the Ji clan emerge as champion, what harm is there in giving him a quota? Ji Yunqian faintly nodded his head and gazed at the disappearing figure of Lin Dong in the distance, while pursing his lips. Perhaps, this martial gathering would become very interesting. It was a pity that he was unable to participate. The next day, when the warm sunlight sprinkled down, the atmosphere on the incomparably large martial gathering island flared and heated up abruptly. Various noises and sounds of fanfare converged together and shot into the clouds. Creak. The tightly shut doors were gently pulled open, as Lin Dong slowly walked out from within. Upon exiting, he saw Ji Yu Yang, Ji Yu Mengqi and the rest already waiting at the courtyard. Sunlight illuminated the slender physique of the two ladies, and the faint radiance from the sunlight made them look exceptionally beautiful. "Brother Lin Dong, it's about time. Shall we make a move?" When she saw the youth walking out from the room, a gentle smile appeared on the beautiful face of Ji Yu Mengqi, as she asked in a soft voice. "In addition, please take care of us in this martial gathering." Lin Dong was stunned for an instant, before it hit him. He was astounded as he asked, "The two of you will also be participating in this martial gathering?" "Yes, every clan has to send 3 representatives for the martial gathering. For the Ji Yu clan, it will be us 3. Ji Yu Mengqi replied with a faint smile. Lin Dong instantly understood. Soon after, he smiled and replied, "Since that is the case, we'll have to work towards a common goal this time. As long as Brother Lin Dong doesn't blame us for holding you back." Ji Yu Mengqi replied with a smile. Without saying another word, she took the lead and turned around, heading outside. Behind her, Lin Dong and Ji Yu Yang rapidly followed suit. At the center of Martial Gathering Island was an extremely magnificent and imposing giant mountain. At this time, the giant mountain was already pervaded by the frenzied and passionate buzz of the crowd. On the peak of the mountain, many platforms were being arranged, a sight that was extremely spectacular and magnificent. When Lin Dong and his group reached the top, the vicinity of the mountain peak was already filled with a vast crowd. Occasionally, whooshing sounds resounded across the sky, as figures descended like locusts. The start of the martial gathering isn't just a show, it's a competition between various experts. As such, the 5 great clans will be able to observe these experts, and invite them to become guards or sinecures of the clan. Ha ha, sinecures are treated very well, hence, many experts hope to catch the eyes of the 5 great clans. After all, having a strong backing is naturally beneficial in a place like the chaotic Demon Sea. Furthermore, the clan will provide them with the resources required for their cultivation. Lin Dong and his group landed on the mountain top, and slowly walked to the seats arranged for the Ji Yu clan. During this time, Ji Yu Mengqi faintly smiled towards Lin Dong while explaining the various details of the martial gathering. While listening, Lin Dong's gaze flickered, as he faintly smiled and nodded his head. However, he did not say anything at this moment. From the looks of it, it seemed like he noticed Ji Yu Mengqi's attempt to recruit him into their clan. Upon seeing his reactions, a sliver of disappointment flashed past Ji Yu Mengqi's eyes, and her words started to flow more quickly. When the group finally reached the Ji Yu clan's allocated seats, the pale-faced Ji Yu Yuntian rose up and cupped his hands towards Lin Dong. As he was about to say something, his gaze swept around, before his face gradually started to turn ugly. Lin Dong followed Ji Yu Yuntian's gaze, and looked over, spotting a similarly large group of people pouring in close by. Within the group, he spotted a familiar figure, Wei Song. "Members of the Wei clan huh?" Lin Dong muttered as his eyes faintly narrowed. Only now did he understand why Ji Yu Yuntian's face had turned this ugly. Lin Dong's gaze swept across Wei Song, and came to a rest beside him. There stood 2 figures, one of which was wearing grey clothes. Behind his back was an excessive-looking great blade. An extremely fierce and overbearing blade chi was faintly discernible as it radiated from it. Lin Dong shot a look at the blade-carrying man, before turning to look at the other person. This person appeared extremely weak and frail, and his appearance was rather mundane. His face was filled with a smile, however, that smile made people feel gloomy and cold. This made him look akin to a viper hiding in the grass. Lin Dong's eyes swept across these 2 people, as his eyes faintly narrowed. He was able to feel the tyrannical fluctuations pouring out of the bodies of those 2. From the looks of it, they seemed rather troublesome too. The blade-carrying man is Wei Shan of the Wei clan. He's considered the strongest person within the younger generation of the Wei clan. His mastery of the Wei clan's mountain blade technique is approaching the point of perfection, Ji Yumengqi's soft voice slowly rang out. It was not hard for Lin Dong to notice the graveness in her voice. What about the other person? Lin Dong faintly nodded his head, and asked in a soft voice. The other one. Ji Yumengqi looked towards the unassuming male beside Wei Yizhen, as her umber-black brows slightly furrowed. That's Ghost Spear Chen Luo, the first disciple of the nefarious Bone Old Man. Ji Yuntian spoke out, while his face darkened. Rubbing his chest, he clenched his teeth and continued, my injuries were caused by him. Ji Yumengqi and the rest clenched their jade-like hands, as flames of anger erupted within their eyes. The first disciple of the nefarious Bone Old Man. Lin Dong's brow faintly wrinkled, as he shot a look at Ji Yu Yang. This meant that this Chen Luo should be the senior brother of Xu Yun. Lin Dong raised his head and looked towards the male. At this time, the latter seemed to notice. Tilting his head, his gaze crossed paths with Lin Dong's. In the next moment, his smile became exceedingly radiant. Extending his palm, he sent a beheading gesture towards Lin Dong's figure from afar, while his lips spread open, and a minute sound was transmitted over. Lin Dong, I'll take your life on my junior brother's behalf. Lin Dong's eyes faintly narrowed. It was truly inevitable for enemies to meet. Brother Lin Dong, you have a quarrel with Chen Luo. Chen Luo did not show any restraint when he made the beheading gesture at Lin Dong. Therefore, even Ji Yuntian and the rest easily noticed it. They were slightly taken aback for a moment, before they asked Lin Dong in surprise. While contending for the life Mysterious Spirit Fruit on Mysterious Spirit Island, Wei Song was accompanied by Chen Luo's junior brother, who was dealt with by Lin Dong in the end. Ji Yu Yang explained. Oh. Ji Yu Yuntian and the rest gawked, before turning speechless. Never would they have imagined that this seemingly kind and well-mannered youth before them would actually be so vicious. He had even dared to kill a disciple of the nefarious Bone Old Man. Looks like brother Lin Dong has to be a bit more careful if you come face to face with Chen Luo. Although the relationship between them is not that good, they are after all both disciple of the nefarious Bone Old Man, Ji Yu Yuntian cautioned Lin Dong. Lin Dong smiled and nodded his head. Chen Luo was indeed not weak, however, if he wanted to take Lin Dong's life, he really did not have the qualifications to do so. That's right. Exactly how strong is that nefarious Bone Old Man? Lin Dong's eyes faintly flickered, before suddenly questioning. He had killed Xu Yun. If the nefarious Bone Old Man caught wind of this, he would definitely not remain silent. At that time, it would be inevitable for him to personally take action. Facing this potential danger, Lin Dong felt that it would be beneficial to obtain a clearer understanding of the matter. The nefarious Bone Old Man is quite famous within the Heaven Wind Sea region. Furthermore, he is a sinecure of the demonic Wind Cave, and has reached the perfect profound life stage a few years ago. According to the information our GU clan has collected, he has been attempting to break through to the profound death stage for the past 2 years. If he succeeds, he might become the most resounding figure in the Heaven Wind Sea region. GU Yuntian replied in a somewhat grave manner. Lin Dong's eyes faintly narrowed. This truly was a thorny opponent. If the nefarious Bone Old Man was only at the perfect profound life stage, he would not be particularly afraid. Even if Lin Dong could not defeat him, that old man would be unable to prevent him from escaping. However, once that old man stepped into the profound death stage, the outcome would be somewhat different. The profound life stage was where life chi would integrate into one's yuan power, causing one's yuan power grow continuously, and be as boundless as the sea. In battle, one would be able to exhibit powerful and threatening strength. In addition, life chi had the extremely mystical property of healing injuries, to the extent of regrowing lost limbs. The bodies of experts at the perfect profound life stage were almost practically impossible to destroy, making them considerably tyrannical. However, if the profound life stage was said to strengthen one's body, then the profound death stage would increase one's killing power. Under the power of death chi, no living thing could survive. The destructive power it possessed was extremely terrifying. In addition, once death chi invaded one's body, even life chi would be unable to repair the damage. That also meant that the healing ability of life chi was completely ineffective in the face of death chi. This was the most fundamental reason why profound death stage experts could suppress profound life stage experts. Therefore, if the nefarious bone old man really reached the profound death stage, it would be a huge headache for Lin Dong. Lin Dong frowned, before letting the thought dissipate. Now was not the time to be thinking about this matter. After all, he would leave this place once he exited the chaotic tower. The chaotic demon sea was incomparably vast and expansive, and even the nefarious bone old man's influence did not have the qualifications to cover it entirely. The strength of the perfect profound life stage was only enough to let him ride roughshod in this heaven wind sea region. It was likely that not many would fear him elsewhere. As his thoughts proceeded in this direction, Lin Dong slowly withdrew his gaze from Chen Luo. He then walked towards the GU clan's allocated seats, sat down, and waited for the martial gathering to begin. Upon seeing this, the nearby Chen Luo faintly smiled. He ceased the meaningless provocation. On the off chance that they met in the arena, personally taking action would be much better. That's the vicious individual that killed Brother Xu Yun? Ha ha, Brother Chen Luo, no need to get too angry. He can't run away. Wei Zhen shot a look at Lin Dong, before speaking out with a faint smile. That wastrel's skills were inferior, and being killed only meant that he was useless. However, he is after all my junior brother. If news of this matter were to spread, it would sully my name. Therefore, I still have to take revenge on his behalf. Chen Luo replied with a forced smile. His words showed that he held no affection at all for his so-called junior brother. These emotionless words caused the some of the surrounding Wei clan members to have no choice but give a hollow laugh agreement. Wei Zhen smiled and nodded his head. Sweeping his gaze across the area, he said, as of now, the GU clan's GU Yunqian is unable to take action due to his serious injuries. I believe that my Wei clan should be able to smoothly achieve victory. However, as for becoming the champion, it might be somewhat troublesome. Upon hearing those words, graveness flitted across the eyes of even the smiling Chen Luo. Raising his head, he looked towards the mountain peak. A similarly spacious square was situated at the peak. At the end of the square stood an ancient stone tower, of which only half was visible. A faintly discernible ancient and desolate aura slowly radiated from it. That was the chaotic tower, and an Azura guarded it. Shintu clan, Iron Azura Shintu Ju. With regards to the young expert, who was outstanding and famous within the Heaven Wind Sea region, even an arrogant person like Chen Luo would feel incomparable dread. That's the Song clan. Can you see the man in blue clothes at the front? That's Song Chen, the strongest amongst the younger generation of the Song clan. His strength has reached the peak of the initial profound life stage. Over there is the Su clan. Their leader is Su Yang. This person is somewhat special. 5 years ago, he was ranked at the bottom of the younger generation of the Su clan. However, he had a lucky encounter and found an ancient treasury where he obtained an inheritance. Henceforth, he broke away from his previous mediocrity. In a short 5 years, he had become the strongest person amongst the younger generation of the Su clan. In the subsequent time, the members of the other two great clans appeared in succession, while Ji Yu Yang continued introducing Lin Dong to his potential opponents with considerable patience. Upon hearing all of this, Lin Dong turned his gaze towards Song Chen, who was wearing a set of blue clothes. He was rather elegant, had a rather good temperament, and could be considered as a top-class handsome male. As for that Su Yang, he looked much more mediocre compared to Song Chen. His appearance was extremely thin and frail. However, those pair of eyes were bright and full of expression. His exposed skin was covered with lines that were like the cragginess of a rock, and gave off a feeling of toughness. Lin Dong was obviously much more interested in this Su Yang. Those who had broken free from mediocrity were never simple people. With a single look, Lin Dong could see that it would be much more difficult to deal with Su Yang than Song Chen. As expected of the 5 great clans of the Heaven Wind Sea region, these younger generation members are all brilliant people. After observing for a while, Lin Dong slowly retracted his gaze, while praise flashed within his eyes. Besides the feared Shintu Ju whom had yet to reveal himself, each and every one of these 5 great clan members were already so powerful. If they were placed within the Eastern Xian region, they would definitely stand at the apex of the younger generation. This martial gathering will have some unanticipated brilliance. Time slowly passed in this boiling atmosphere. However, the martial gathering did not start immediately. Under the control of the 5 great clans, numerous experts from various places crossed hands on the many platforms present. Many experts wished to display their strength and draw the attention of the 5 great clans. Although they would lose some freedom, they would in turn receive considerably superior training conditions. All in all, it was a fair trade. With regards to such exchanges, Lin Dong did not show much interest, preferring to closing his eyes and rest. This continued till the scorching sun was hanging high in the sky, as the deafening noises and clamor gradually lessened. Subsequently, he sensed Ji Yumengqi, who was beside him, stand up. "It's starting, huh?" Lin Dong's faintly closed eyes sprung open at this moment. Raising his head, he noticed that there was an elder standing in the air above the square. He was a member of the Shantu clan. The martial gathering happens once a year, and there's nothing much to elaborate about the rules. As usual, everyone ballots for an opponent. Each clan can send 3 participants. The powerful voice of the elder rumbled as it echoed in everyone's ears. As the elder spoke, a glowing halo rose up from his hands. Within the halo, one could see 4 revolving glowing tags. Kai? As the glowing halo appeared, Ji Yumengqi immediately stood up, along with the participants of the other 3 great clans. They extended their palms out, as a suction force erupted. Each of them grabbed a light tag within the glowing halo, before abruptly pulling it out. Swish! As the light tag left the glowing halo, a glowing thread snaked out. As the light tag landed in Ji Yumengqi's hands, the glowing thread extended, before joining up with another light tag. Following the glowing thread, it led them to the direction of the Su clan. Lin Dong's eyes narrowed faintly. He lifted his eyes, and looked toward Su Yang, who was holding onto the light tag. The latter also raised his head and looked over with a faint smile. Within that smile was thick fighting intent. "Our first round opponent is the Su clan, huh?" "Our opponent for the first round is the Su clan." Ji Yumengqi raised her head, and gazed at where the light tags had connected together. Her eyes faintly flashed as she spoke out softly. "It's fortunate that we did not encounter the Wei clan now," Ji Yu Yang said while breathing a sigh of relief. Currently, it was obvious that the Wei clan was the strongest amongst the 4 clans. If they were to meet them in the first round, it would be quite taxing for the Ji Yu clan. "We will meet eventually," Lin Dong replied indifferently. Ji Yu Yang's mentality of avoidance was equivalent to burying one's head in the sand. Ji Yumengqi nodded her head. Subsequently, she extended her jade-like hand, and the light tag within it instantly split into 3. As she offered them to Lin Dong and Ji Yu Yang, she said, "The 2 of you, select your tag. This will randomly select your opponents." Ji Yu Yang took the lead and took a light tag. As the light tag entered her hand, a glowing thread shot out from its edge towards the direction of the Su clan, connecting with a tall and well-built man. "That's the Su clan Su Tai." Ji Yu Yang's brows faintly wrinkled as she gazed at the man. It was obvious that she had some understanding of the latter. "Brother Lin Dong, it's your turn." Ji Yumengqi had also faintly wrinkled her black brows as she gazed at Ji Yu Yang's opponent, before turning to Lin Dong and speaking with a faint smile. Lin Dong nodded his head, and reached out to receive a light tag. As the glowing thread extended, it connected with the light tag in the hand of an extremely frail and normal-looking male under crowd's attention. "Hua!" When this connection appeared, an uproar immediately emerged from the surroundings. Gazes continuously swept across Lin Dong's body, as whispers rapidly broke out. "That person doesn't seem to be a member of the Ji Yu clan, right? He should be an invited external helper. However, why is he so unfamiliar? From fluctuations of his aura, he has reached the profound life stage. However, from the looks of it, he should have only reached this realm quite recently. How can he challenge Su Yang with such strength? TCH, the Ji Yu clan is rather unlucky this time." that Su Tai is only second to Su Yang within the younger generation of the Su clan. However, that Ji Yu Yang has only recently broken through to the profound life stage. True. Looks like 2 of the 3 matches do not bode well for the Ji Yu clan. It is indeed rather dangerous for them. Upon hearing the numerous whispers from the surroundings, many anxious gazes from the Ji Yu clan were cast over. To them, this allocation seemed pretty unfair. However, as the allocation was randomized, encountering such a situation could only be considered as bad luck. Is this allocation disadvantageous for us? Tilting his head to look at Ji Yu Mengqi, Lin Dong asked. If we only look at your surface strength, the situation would indeed seem rather grim. Ji Yu Mengqi replied with a smile. Shooting a look at Su Yang at the direction of the Su clan, she continued, you've been paired with the strongest person within the younger generation of the Su clan. As for me, I will be encountering the weakest of the 3 people that the Su clan has sent this time. As for little Yang, it's slightly troublesome for her. Su Tai advanced to the profound life stage quite some time ago. If they were to cross hands, the chances of her losing are relatively high, therefore, the most important factor for this round would be you and Su Yang. The outcome of your match will determine whether the Ji Yu clan or the Su clan proceeds to the next round. This time, it can be considered as the strongest against the strongest, the second strongest against the weakest, and the weakest against the second strongest. On the surface, it is a 50-50 chance, of course. As her words reached this point, Ji Yu Mengqi's voice paused, as her beautiful eyes rested on Lin Dong's body, before continuing in a soft voice, it's still that statement. Your true strength needs to far exceed what it is on the surface. If you lose to Su Yang, we'll lose. Although they had some understanding of Lin Dong's strength after he had crossed hands with Mo Dao and Ji Yu Yun, they had after all not seen Lin Dong truly go all out. Therefore, no one knew if he would be able to exhibit outstanding power when faced against the most outstanding youth from the Su clan. Yes. Lin Dong silently nodded his head, but did not say anything else. Any doubts towards his ability would be cleared once he crossed hands with Su Yang. Any words said now were useless, even if they sounded nice. Let's enter the arena. Upon seeing his reaction, Ji Yu Mengqi did not continue saying anything. With a wave of her jade-like hand, she took the lead and shot forward, descending onto the spacious platform below. Lin Dong, it's up to you now. Ji Yu Yang sent a helpless smile at him, before her figure also flew out. From the looks of it, she clearly knew that she was more likely to lose than to win. Lin Dong watched the beautiful figures of the 2 ladies, and could only shrug his shoulders. With a shift of his body, he descended onto the platform. Raising his head, his gaze locked onto Su Yang. At this moment, Su Yang had also turned his gaze around and stared at Lin Dong. A faint smile was revealed on that exceptionally thin and frail-looking face. The tips of his feet pushed off the ground, and a whoosh rang out as he appeared on the platform Lin Dong was on. In the air, the bright gaze of Elder from the Shinto clan swept across the platforms, before saying indifferently, since all of you have entered, let the competition begin. In addition, when crossing hands, fists and legs have no eyes, so any injuries sustained will be on yourselves. Bang! Following his words, boundless Yuan power suddenly erupted from 3 platforms. Human figures instantly intertwined on 2 of the platforms, as the combat immediately began. Countless gazes converged on the 3 platforms, before some of them came to a stop on the 3rd one. The 2 people there did not show any signs of immediately starting to fight. Su clan Su Yang. Su Yang's gaze swept across the other 2 platforms where the fighting had already started. Soon after, he faintly smiled at Lin Dong as he cupped his hands together and said, Lin Dong. Lin Dong replied with a smile. He knew that Su Yang was waiting for the other 2 fights to end, although he should have already predicted the results. Friend, you don't seem to be from the Heaven Wind Sea region, right? The Heaven Wind Sea region is so vast. Brother Su Yang, I don't think you'll go so far as to say that you know everyone, right? Lin Dong chuckled as he replied. Ha ha, that's true, Su Yang smiled. Staring at Lin Dong, he said, Brother Lin Dong should understand the importance of our fight, right? Lin Dong faintly nodded his head. He knew that if Gu Yang lost and Gu Mengqi won, both parties would have a win. The victor of the fight between Su Yang and himself would then determine which clan had the right to enter the next round. Then I'm somewhat sorry about this, but I need to win this fight, Su Yang said with a faint smile. Lin Dong smiled and shook his head. This Su Yang was rather straightforward, and did not bother to hide his intentions. However, he too needed to win this fight. If not, he would not get a share in the chaotic tower. After Su Yang spoke these words, he did not say anything else. With his hands behind his back, he waited quietly for the other two fights to conclude. Similarly, Lin Dong did not take action. He faintly closed his eyes, and remained calm and composed. Time rapidly passed as the two faced off in this strange manner, while the other two fights gradually came to an end. Bang bang. Two low and deep sounds rang out seemingly at the same time. In the next instant, everyone saw two figures flying backwards on their platforms in a somewhat miserable manner. Immediately after, clamoring noises rang out from the audience. Gu clan, Gu Mengqi's victory. Su clan, Su Tai's victory. Upon seeing this, the elder standing in the air waved his sleeve, and a powerful voice instantly rang in everyone's ears. Swish swish. As his voice faded, all the gazes in the audience practically shifted in an instant, before finally resting on the bodies of the two that had yet to take action. Gu Mengqi support Gu Yang, whose face was slightly pale, back towards the Gu clan seats, before looking over anxiously at the thin figure nearby. I'm sorry, elder sister Mengqi. Gu Yang apologized with a bitter smile. Gu Mengqi shook her head, and looked towards the front, muttering, we haven't lost yet. Next, we'll see if Lin Dong truly has the strength that he claims to have. Under the clamoring of the audience, as well as the gathering of innumerable gazes, Su Yang gave a faint smile. Soon after, his hands slowly extended from his sleeves. His palms were of a dark gray, and formidable fluctuations could be faintly discernible as they radiated out. Brother Lin Dong, I will not show mercy, be careful. Lin Dong's faintly shut eyes gently opened when those words rang out. He gazed Su Yang, and extended his hand. Please guide me. This video will end here.